Arsenal travelled to the Ramon Sanchez Piece 1 and put in a tough and brave performance to walk away as 2-1 victors against a team that, to be fair to them, were resilient, they were strong, they were competitive in Sevilla. Look, it's a big result as it sends us to the top of the group, and to be fair, we looked pretty good for large portions of the game. A much better performance than the one we saw at the bridge against Chelsea, so as far as that goes, I'm very, very happy. For the starting 11, in goal we had David Raya, which, I mean, it shouldn't even be a surprise at this point, but I'm really starting to feel bad for Ramsdale. Raya, who is, let's be honest, only marginally better than Ramsdale. If that, maybe you could say Ramsdale's better. I don't know. They're really close in quality. But Raya goes in and has some really dodgy performances against City and Chelsea. And despite Arteta going around to the media saying there's no number one, it's a competitive spot, Raya keeps getting the starts. It's just, I would be so frustrated if I'm Ramsdale, and I feel so bad for him. The back line saw the change of Tomiyasu for Zinchenko, and in the pre-match I said I would start Zinchenko, but I didn't mind the change. I think Zinchenko obviously was in poor form and horrible against Chelsea, and Tomiyasu has been good off the bench in several games recently, so I get the move. The midfield of Rice, Jorginho and Odegaard had me really dumbfounded. Listen, Partey had a 30-minute cameo against City, plays all the international games against Ghana, so you would imagine he's fit enough. He got rested against Chelsea and then gets a muscular injury to rule him out of the game. Yeah, I don't know. That's very frustrating to me. We haven't seen Partey play meaningful game time or start meaningful games for I don't know how long now. So I'm also wondering if Arteta was going to start Jorginho ahead of Partey regardless of Partey's injury. I mean, Jorginho started against City, did well. Starts against Chelsea, he was pretty decent. So I was wondering, even if Partey was fully fit, Partey start? I mean, Partey didn't even come off the bench against Chelsea. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think Jorginho is probably the starter in Arteta's head between him and Partey. Don't ask me why, but I just have a gut feeling that that's the case. And then obviously we had the normal front three that we saw against Chelsea, and the front three that had only played one Premier League game together, that being the Chelsea game, so glad to see them all back. Now, first of all, to start the game, that atmosphere seemed to be absolutely electric. I mean, I expected nothing less from the Sevilla faithful, but wow, it was crazy. They were singing all game long. The game was quite cagey to start. Tomiyasu played a beautiful long ball to find Jesus in space, who slipped it through to set Martinelli up for one-on-one. And I mean, realistically, I know Gabby finished later on in the game, but he should have finished that first chance that he got. I think he just took too long. The keeper got to smother his shot, and that was that. Around the 20th minute, we were pinned quite deep in, and Raya had an absolutely atrocious pass right into the Sevilla midfield, who tried to find Luka Bakayoko, or Luka Bacchio, or however you say his name. Luka Bacchio was wide open in the box, but luckily he miscontrolled it badly. Raya scooped it up, and I mean, Raya's blushes got spared because wow, that was a horrible pass, horrible decision making. Like, listen, I know the manager wants us to play a certain way. I know he wants us to play the high risk, playing out from the back the way we do, but yeah, I just feel at times Raya's passing and decision making recently is questionable. It just is. But after that, a lot of the first 45 minutes essentially was both teams just trying to probe and find chinks in the defense of the other team. But for the most part, both teams held strong. And Sevilla were just very rigid and tough to break down. Sevilla did have that little chance towards the end of the first half. I think a lot of us are forgetting about it. When Ocampos fed in Nesri, and he pulled it narrowly wide on his shot. I think it was on his left foot. It could have easily been 1-0 to them. And then we scored an absolutely amazing goal right after that. I mean, Sevilla got a half chance and were pushing up. And then we won the ball, broke away. Gabriel Jesus had an amazing piece of skill, turning two players at once, sending them to the shops, and he found Gabriel Martinelli with an amazing through ball. And at first I thought, okay, Martinelli is trying to do too much to round the keeper, just shoot it. but boy was I wrong. Gabby executed it to perfection and slotted it in the empty goal and sent us 1-0 up right before the break. What a team goal, and that's a perfect way to end a really competitive and cagey half where neither team was really the better of it. But you guys don't understand how important scoring right before the halftime break is and right after the halftime break is. Changes the game completely. Really good goal. We then started the second half off with tons of confidence and energy. We had that little Odegaard chance with the keeper out of the goal, but I mean, he lashed it and sent it over. And then after some good possession football and slow balled up play, Declan Rice finds Jesus on the left wing. And speaking of Jesus putting out some absolute world-class moves, he then takes his man on, drives him into the box off the left wing and absolutely whips the ball into the top corner. Such a tight angle. 3 players closing him down, but a super finish from Gabby Jesus to send us up 2-0. I mean, that is some world-class play from Jesus. And then, of course, as we're celebrating, as we're all happy, not too long after, we just made it difficult for ourselves. We go up 2-0 and we start cruising and concede a corner. Grudel scores for Sevilla in the corner. I mean, the thing is that I don't think it was a poorly defended corner. I just think Sevilla really capitalized on a mismatch in the box. But like I said, I don't think it was an error to point at. It's going to be quite frustrating that we conceded directly from a corner, but it just feels like it kind of just went Sevilla's way in that moment in time. But regardless, it reduced the goal reduced the deficit to 1 goal only with 30 minutes left. It was not ideal at all. Sevilla then had that chance where Mariano Diaz found the ball. I mean, he controlled it with his hand, let's be honest, but he found the ball, controlled his arm, but had a thunderous effort and smacked it against the crossbar. Raya didn't even sniff that out. Beautiful shot from Mariano Diaz, the ex-Real Madrid player, but I mean, it hit the crossbar and didn't go in the net, so who cares really? But it was another warning sign for Arsenal. Sevilla had their tails up and we looked shook. Ocampos then even had an overhead kick that went just wide, but like Arsenal were on the ropes for sure. We then took off our captain Martin Odegaard for Kai Havertz. It was quite like, I was thinking like, why would we do that? But maybe it was just in an attempt to maybe just freshen the team up and maybe even be more dominant aerially, because you guys know, I'll give Havertz his credit in the air. He's a menace in the air. He's like a centre back, wins a lot of headers. We then brought on Nketiah for Jesus, who had an awesome game, world-class game from Jesus. But Jesus seemed to have been injured a little bit on his hamstring. Nothing's come out yet, but hopefully he's fine, because especially after a performance like that, we need him back. We also then brought on Leandro Trossard for Starboy Bukayo Saka. And then Sevilla then tested our defense out a little more, leading to Raya making an important yet easy save where he kind of just catched it. We then brought on a guy who we haven't seen too often this season in Jakub Kiwior, who came on for one of our goal scorers in Gabriel Martinelli. It was quite clear it was just a defensive change. Sevilla then whipped in a ball, and I don't understand this. Raya kind of miscued it and punched it into the air and backwards towards the goal. And I promise you, and I tell you guys, when I saw that ball in the air, I thought, oh no, what's he done? It's over. It's 2-2. We have to go find something. My heart sunk. But luckily for him and for us, it landed on the roof of the net and just went out for a Sevilla corner. That right there is dodgy goalkeeping. I mean, some bad passes, that dodgy miscue. Again, I'm not trying to pick on him. I think he's a really good keeper, but it just makes you think like Ramsdale sitting on that bench thinking, this guy makes all these errors and I can't even get into the team. Very frustrating. But anyway, it could have been much worse for us. Luckily, landed on the roof of the net. And then right at the end, Ocampos had that chance where he kind of had an overload in the box and he freaking miscued it as well. Luckily he miscued it and sealed a 2-1 victory for Arsenal. It was a tough game, and what a battle it was. What an important victory for us. Huge and brave performance from the team. Important result. These games are so crucial to win in the Champions League. the third and fourth games of the match days of the group. Very important, especially now that Lens and PSV drew 1-1. It makes it even better for us. We have 6 points now. We need to ensure that we keep this up in the Champions League. But anyway, it was a really good performance from the team. I thought overall we put in a tough performance. A lot of players stepped up, especially after that horrible performance at the bridge. Very, very happy. And now we go on to Sheffield United on Saturday. But yeah, that's it, guys. Let me know, what did you guys think of the game? Who do you think played really well? What did you make of Raya's quote-unquote errors? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one.